Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So here we have it. I would love someone to tell me something conclusively bullish about what I'm seeing here. Retail has no money, and the daily looks like crap to me, not a bull flag. Is there some good reason why someone has the money to pull us out of this downtrend? Is there some way we're not going back to $49,900? Guys, he's taking a look at the Bitcoin chart here, and he's got one chart here on the weekly, one chart here on the daily showing, a pretty similar pattern, even when you do zoom out. Now, the weekly chart obviously does not look as terrible as the daily. On the daily, we are seeing lower lows and lower highs and more of them. But DM Logic here, I got to thank DM Logic for bringing this up. I mean, it is a good question considering, we're looking at cryptocurrency on the macro and everybody is screaming bullish, bullish, bullish. Yet this is what we're seeing. And I mean, even on the shorter time frames, like the hourly, we've just seen this indecisiveness, right? Bitcoin moving up and then coming back down. Right now, the price of a Bitcoin is trading in and around 62,400. We were in the 64,000 range, if I'm not mistaken, 24 hours ago. So, I mean, what is the verdict on this? Ultimately, what I can say is, when zooming out on the weekly chart here, let's bring up Bitcoin on the weekly. Here we have Bitcoin on the weekly. And, when we zoom in on this, what I'm looking at here, pretty much big, long green candlesticks on the weekly, supporting a very robust uptrend. And then after that, guys, we've had some indecisive red candlesticks here. We got another green one here, but then mostly indecisive red candlesticks coming down, but not really with any kind of force. I know the force feels very significant when we're in the thick of things, right? Down 25%, give or take. That feels very significant. But, in the grand scheme of things, looking at this on the weekly, you guys can see there is a lot of buying pressure. Otherwise, we would not have those tails on these candlesticks here. So is this something normal? Should we be worried about this kind of trend? Personally, I don't think so. I don't think that, this is really anything to worry about in the grand scheme of things, guys. Bullish pennant pattern. Okay, and we just have to wait a little bit longer before this market does push up. And again, we did see something very, very similar back in and around here, in and around the halving of 2016. It wasn't quite in and around the same time, and it wasn't quite after. It was during the halving here. We did see that push to the upside for Bitcoin, and then slowly just kind of dipping down, right? Dipping down before we did see that next push to the upside. So, in my opinion, that's what we are to expect next. Sentiment back down to neutral, although it isn't wavering too much. Market cap is at 2.3 trillion. That's down a little bit. 24-hour volume is also down a little bit there, and Bitcoin dominance still hanging on. So the fundamentals, in terms of market structure, hasn't really changed too much. We have seen, in the last 24 hours, the market has faltered a little bit. Altcoins are seeing single-digit declines. XRP following the same kind of trend as the rest of the market. This is XRP on the weekly. Here, let me get rid of some of that. Weekly hasn't been looking so great for XRP as of late, but guys, that's par for the course. XRP is also still grinding to the upside. And right now, you can purchase one XRP for about 52.1, just over 52 cents. So, I mean, this is the market structure. I mean, ultimately, Bitcoin is looking bullish, still poised to make new highs, and it's just going to be a matter of time before we see those new highs, and then the euphoria will kick in. So, guys, we're only a few weeks post-halving. Remember the timeline. We still have a lot of time to go before we reach the top of the market. Mickey Bull posting this, altcoin market printing the footsteps of alt season 2020 to 2021, and yet not many are seeing this. So a positive outlook here. Not many are mentally prepared for what is coming. And, this is the perfect setup. The maniac phase, guys, that is coming up very, very soon. Here we are seeing the charts repeating, what we did see in the structure from back in, 2019 to 2020, before that altcoin euphoria did kick in. And we're seeing it here as well. On top of which, Willy Woo is noticing this. Never has there been such a buying spree by high net worth Bitcoin holders as has happened in the last 2 months, with Bitcoin ranging between $60,000 and $70,000. So, you know what that means, guys? The institutional buyers are realizing that this is the buying opportunity because they are not going to be getting a better price than this. This is kind of, somewhere in here, 60,000. This is where it's at this point. We are not going any lower, or at least not much lower, maybe a little bit lower, but buyers are realizing, and institutions no less, They're realizing the ranging between $60,000 and $70,000. That is a prime buying opportunity. These are guys holding between 100 and 1,000 Bitcoin, or roughly $6.5 million to about $65 million in BTC. So again, this is not retail traders. These are institutional grade traders. And we're seeing the buying activity just kind of spike since about February. If you take a look at the Glassnode chart here, and late February, early March, that is when we saw this start to dip. So these numbers are checking out, guys. Wanted to thank Willy Woo here and Mikey Bolt Crypto just for pointing that out. And we did just get another update from the Ripple SEC case yesterday. Michael Branch bringing this to our attention. Ripple CLO teases XRP case resolution. Guys, we are closer now than ever. So Chief Legal Officer Stuart Alderati hints at near resolution in the XRP case amid the ongoing legal battle with the SEC. In a significant development in the ongoing legal battle between Ripple Labs and the Security and Exchange Commission, Ripple's Chief Legal Officer Stuart Alderati hinted at the imminent resolution of the case. Alderati's remarks came in response to the SEC's filing its redacted remedies reply brief and supporting exhibits. The filing by the SEC highlighted various issues, including the question of financial harm and the possibility of a permanent injunction against Ripple. The regulator argued for the granting of an injunction, citing concerns over the crypto company's reliance on the sales of XRP as its primary source of income. So I'm going to go over this today, guys. A lot to cover here. First, Stuart Alderati did come out, saying more of the same from the SEC, failing to faithfully apply the law and trying to pull the wool over the judge's eyes. The good news is that we are closer than ever to putting this lawsuit behind us, though unfortunately, many are just starting the journey, as we have seen other companies now receiving Wells notices from the SEC. So we trust the court will approach the remedies phase fairly. He does go on to say, and just when you think the SEC can't sink any lower, if you are a financial regulator outside the United States and have done the hard work of establishing comprehensive crypto licensing frameworks, know that the SEC has no respect for you and thinks you are handing out the equivalent of fishing licenses, he states here. So Stuart Alderati here with some bold comments regarding the SEC and the remaining portion of the Ripple case. Now, with regards to what we have recently seen come down the pike, James K. Filan here posting the update. The SEC has filed its redacted remedies reply brief and supporting exhibits. Cherry Empress 21 commenting on this. The primary concern the SEC expresses is that the injunctions are absolutely necessary as Ripple will continue to break the law. So that is here one of their main theses. There's mention of the charge contracts, but only some have the provision while others do not. So this is directly from the paper. Ripple finally argues it has changed its contracts and also that ODL contracts do not contain lockup periods, resales restrictions, and discounts. But the order noted that only some of the institutional sales contracts had these provisions. All contracts that predated the ODL ones that violated Section 5, I guess, did not. So the SEC, I guess, is concerned that Ripple is going to continue breaking the law. The SEC argues that Ripple has misread the Gauville case, while ignoring the Ahmed case as the defendant's failure to disclose a conflict tainted the entire transaction. It is also the SEC's position that an investor can suffer harm even though they have profited. So something else that Cherry here has noted, Ripple also misread Gauville. The argument ignores SEC versus Ahmed. So she has pointed this out, cashed it down here saying, when you know the details of the case, well, you can see right through the spin job of the SEC. So, because we have been following this for so long, it does really seem petty at this point. Jonathan here also pointing this out. What about this, Sherry? I may not be reading it correctly, but it seems as if their ask of $2 billion be paid has now been reduced to $266 million. So thus the sale occurred pre-complaint, and all the revenue from those violation contracts, about $266 million, constitutes wrongful gain and is subject to disgorgement. Not sure if that is just part of the total sum or what. Nevertheless, this is the nitty-gritty now. In reference to the consensus lawsuit, Gary Gensler says, and I quote, "We don't speak about whether we have an investigation or not, and we don't speak about whether somebody is, in our opinion, not following the law." He was just interviewed by CNBC the other day. I just can't believe he has the audacity to keep going on TV and saying these things. Listen to this.
Okay, but let me ask you about this. You've seen the consensus lawsuit, and I know you have a Wells notice with them as well. This is Patrick Henry saying the following, and I want you to respond to it. just months after a federal judge sanctioned SEC enforcement lawyers for lying in court. New evidence shows that Chair Gary Gensler himself misled Congress. The testimony to the Financial Services Committee last April, Chair Gensler refused to answer questions about the SEC's classification of Ether, and new court filings show this was an intentional attempt to misrepresent the Commission's position.
We speak to Congress directly in hearings like that, and also directly to members, and we share with them accurately what we're doing, so that the viewers can also understand we don't speak about whether we have an investigation or whether we don't have an investigation, and we don't speak about whether somebody is, in our opinion, not following the law unless we actually bring a case. So we stay quiet on many questions that you might ask at this live interview or even
but ultimately,
in
should investors,
a congressional hearing.
There's a lot of folks who bought Ethereum expecting that one day there will be potentially an ETF and that it will be considered a genuine security that's tradable on these exchanges. Will that happen?
Again, that's something in front of our commission right now. We're a 5-member commission, and those filings will take up at the appropriate time.
Is that something from a timing perspective, though? This is an election year. This administration may be the administration come next year. It may not be the administration. How does that impact the work you're doing?
I'm just focused on how we can do the most for 330 million Americans, what we can do to drive efficiency, resiliency, competition in the equity markets, the treasury markets, the fixed income markets, and yes, also addressing some of the activity in the crypto markets where actors are not uniformly following the law. They just, there's a lot of people have lost their hard-earned funds in the field that you seem to be so fascinated with.
I'm going to go to...
Like, just the audacity of this dimwit. I can't believe it. Autism Capital commenting, if you want a morning blood boil, here's Gary Gensler saying absolutely nothing and dodging questions and being a weasel for 6 minutes straight this morning. That's exactly it. You know, he is very good at the art of saying nothing, saying a lot but actually saying nothing, if you know what I mean. Crypto T also bringing this up. This was earlier on in the interview. Gary Gensler was just asked if Ethereum is a security and if the spot ETF will be approved.
The big question in crypto land right now, is Ethereum a commodity or is Ethereum a security? And therefore, will there one day be an ETF? That's the fundamental question on the table in crypto land. You agree?
Oh, you're the one that's out there asking the questions. All I would say is, to me, the fundamental question is how do we ensure that the American investor is protected? And right now, they're not getting the required or needed disclosures. And the intermediaries in the center of this rather centralized market generally are conflicted and doing things we would never allow the New York Stock Exchange to do. The New York Stock Exchange is not allowed to trade against the investors.
Okay, but let me ask.
So there you have it. Again, the art of saying nothing is, very, very talented at doing exactly that. Wanted to thank Sir Trades a lot. And Crypto T here for posting that. Now, Gary Gensler just admitted to misleading Congress and the American people on CNBC this morning. This is something Sean McBride noticed. He said, "We purposely keep quiet about cases. His job is to protect investors. The mission of the SEC is to protect investors, maintain fair markets, and facilitate capital formation." What does facilitate capital formation mean? Facilitating capital formation is the process of helping investors and other capital providers make informed decisions about investing in companies with ideas, even if those ideas are risky. The SEC has clearly ditched its mission, vision, and values under Gensler. The proof can be found in the high turnover, the continued regulation through enforcement directly going against facilitating capital formation, poor communication, and unhappiness throughout the commission. If you look at businesses that fail to adhere to their missions and vision, you will see a striking resemblance to how the SEC is currently operating and suffering. I cannot wait until this new day comes and, maybe the current administration gets turfed to the side, because at that point, it will coincide directly with, the crypto market euphoria phase. Hopefully we will get, some positive action from the crypto space, and it will feel a little bit more optimistic, despite the questions that we are that we're faced with every single day. Even though the chart formation looks positive and the crypto 4-year cycle has not changed one bit, I get that people are not feeling confident in their crypto portfolio and their crypto investments. It is what's to be expected, unfortunately. Just have faith, guys. This market is going to rally eventually. Just wanted to thank Sean there for pointing that out. Now, Vet here also commenting on this. So, in and amongst the SEC putting out this most recent release, LOL, this is the SEC speaking about Ripple's stablecoin and calls it an unregistered security as well. So they are not relenting. Ripple's primary business continues to be, as it has been since 2013, unregistered sales of XRP. It also plans to issue a new unregistered crypto asset. So that's now what they're calling the latest stablecoin announcement from Ripple. Good Morning Crypto also commenting on this. It appears the SEC is addressing the Ripple stablecoin, claiming this asset as an unregistered security before it even launches or details have been disclosed. USA crypto regulations are out of control. Are you concerned about the SEC's approach to digital asset regulation in the US? Well, I'm sure you are. Mac Attack XRP here saying, it's a never-ending story. Brad mentioned that they will wait on legal clarity before releasing the stablecoin. Expect no legal issue with it. I do believe that Brad Garlinghouse and the team at Ripple have now learnt a very, very valuable lesson. They want to be crypto compliant, right? They do not want to take any chances, especially not at this juncture, especially with this lawsuit largely behind them. So they can release a stablecoin and, depending on how that stablecoin is released, it can be used possibly in the United States. Maybe it's not for United States consumption. We just don't know yet. More on that is going to be released next month, as David Schwartz did say. He is going to be updating us at Apex in June in the Netherlands. So, the SEC clearly has their vision, their opinion on this already, without even knowing anything about it, really. I guess all they know is that Ripple has not come into them to discuss the release of a stablecoin. Well, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, I suppose. But guys, I guess the real question is, when is this lawsuit finally going to conclude? The good news, as noticed here by Jack the Rippler, the SEC does now finally want a conclusion to this. While the SEC's requested penalty is no doubt large, it is consistent with the above cases in which penalties equal or exceed Section 5 gains. Given the nearly $1 billion Ripple gained violating Section 5, the multi-billion-dollar business is built selling XRP, accounting for the value of Ripple's massive XRP holdings and its cash on hand. The low penalty Ripple demands would be a slap on the wrist that neither punishes nor deters. To the contrary, it would encourage other crypto asset issuers to violate Section 5 by making it a remarkably lucrative endeavor and thus deprive investors the disclosures Congress mandates as a mere cost of doing business. For the conclusion, for these reasons, the court should enter the proposed final judgment as a final judgment. So now I guess we're seeing that, they are finally ready to conclude this. It seems to me that if the final judgment is acceptable and reasonable, this case is done. Jack the Rippler saying 100%. So guys, when are we going to finally see this? Jeremy Hogan chiming in on this. The Ripple versus SEC briefs are finished, and I think the SEC went out with a whimper here. It didn't even try to attack ODL sales, just noting that Ripple was trying to relitigate the issue, which it is, and it brought nothing new on damages. So now we're just waiting for the final judgment. And, the final judgment is probably going to bring another bout of XRP FOMO to the space. So this is why I say, 52 cents for an XRP, whatever that price is or has been over the last several months, I guess, at this point, is a pretty good price, very good, attractive price to be purchasing at. Remember, guys, this phase in the market doesn't last forever. Eventually, we will see XRP reach new highs. It certainly will breach $1. And I have a feeling when this lawsuit finally does conclude, we are going to see XRP reach even higher prices than that. So what is a reasonable time frame for the judge here? Jeremy Hogan reiterating, I'll start watching out for a ruling in July and be like WTF in September. So I think that is the time frame that he's eyeing. So will we finally see an XRP pump, a meaningful pump by then? Will it coincide with the rest of the crypto space? I guess time will tell, but guys, these prices will soon be a distant memory. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.